meetings during this state of emergency. So we have a number of things to get to today. I have my colleague, Ms. Elrod, who I don't know if she's on yet. Do we want to go ahead and call the roll? Dr. Sevier? Take roll.
Certainly.
Okay.
Just one moment, please. Dr. Gentry? Ms. Elrod?
Sharon is here. Sorry.
Dr. Gentry is present. Ms. Elrod?
Present.
Ms. Elrod's present. Ms. Spearing?
Present.
We want to go ahead and call the roll.
Ms. Bugs?
Present.
Bugs is present. Ms. Bush?
Present.
Bush is present. Ms. Player-Peters?
Present.
Player-Peters is present. Ms. Pooper-Walker?
Present.
Walker's present. Ms. Froeg?
Present.
Ms. Froeg's present. Madam Chair, you have 8 members present.
Super. Thank you so much. So I will go ahead and pass the baton to Ms. Elrod. She held a naming committee meeting previously, and I just wanted to give her a moment to discuss where we are with that.
Thank you. So I would like to defer to the next governance meeting my policy so we can bring it up then to talk about that typo and to discuss the benefactor sponsorship in more detail and have some appropriate wording there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And I wanted to let folks know that we are pulling policy 4.606 and policy 6.200 from the agenda today. And we will move through the rest of our agenda that you have before you. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton to Dr. Sevier to take it from here.
Thank you, Ms. Pooper-Walker. Jamal, if you could scroll down past past the policy that we just deferred from Ms. Elrod. About 2 more pages. 4.206 is before you. So 4.206 previously was called special programs. And you see that this policy in the upper right-hand corner there says it rescinds 4.206 and this is, and it's replaced. So it's a kind of a rescind and replace piece. And the old homebound instruction piece carved out pregnancy as a separate medical issue and limited the amount of time that a pregnant student could remain on homebound after the birth of a child to 6 weeks. This policy changes that at the insistence of the General Assembly. I believe it's a wise move and essentially treats all homebound opportunities as being a qualifying medical condition by a physician who can provide that documentation, and then we can provide those services. Now, we have a long history of providing excellent homebound instruction in the district. Frankly, that's only gotten better through the advent of online opportunities and online learning, virtual learning. I suspect in our current situation, we'll have even more of that. So with that, the one thing that did not change is how you qualify for homebound instruction. It's if the physician determines that you're going to miss 10 or more consecutive days or an aggregate of 10 because of a chronic medical condition, then that person can be certified for that service. So I will defer to the chair on whether or not we want to go through these and then take one roll call, one vote on all of them as amended in a couple of cases, or if we want to do them one by one. So, Ms. Pooper-Walker, do you have a preference on that?
Oh, I do, but I was muted. So I would prefer to do all that on once, do them all, vote on them all at once. But I'd encourage board members, my colleagues, to speak up if you have a different opinion.
I will say there were some questions about this policy on whether or not, like what that instructional time looked like. And I will just say for the benefit of all that this is a reflection of the statute. So this is one of those situations where we're required to have a policy that is the statute. But by and large, it's on a case-by-case basis, the services that a student receives who's homebound extend well beyond any minimum that's required by law.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Elrod.
So I was that person that asked those questions. So I would say that I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with the answers that I received, and so I'm fine with us doing them all at once.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have thoughts on whether if you have issues with us lumping these together into one vote? Okie doke. Let's move forward, Dr. Severe.
Jamal, thank you. Jamal, could you scroll on down, and I'll if you can help with that. I appreciate that. And we're going to move past that policy. We've determined after consideration that we do not need to make any changes to that policy, that it's functional as it is. And right there, testing programs. The state requires us, and if you'll scroll on down, you can see where I have made the change. It's highlighted. There are multiple ways to determine a TCAP score on a 10 ready or an end of course exam. And one way, the way we have been doing it is through what's called the target score method. And it's a method that's a statistical, methodological manner of converting a raw score onto a 100-point scale. We are required, you see this policy would strike above or the minimum allowed by the state of Tennessee, and instead insert that yellow highlighted sentence that puts us in a more compliant posture. So if there are any questions, I'd be glad to entertain them, but it is truly a technical change that reflects what we've been doing. Okay, excellent. If we can move on, Jamal, to the next one, which is 5.307. Again, another one that's, I wish some of these were more exciting, but this is another one that we are required statutorily to have and adopt. It essentially says what happens when a teacher is assaulted while on duty. And it does, and if you read through it, you find that the district will still continue to pay full benefits, including health insurance, and from the time of the assault until the time of the release, in which that teacher would come back to work as is normal. So I think it's a very teacher-friendly, and I believe this was worked on in the last General Assembly session. There are some folks on here from HR if in fact we need to have any more detailed discussion, but this again is a statutory requirement that gets us compliant with the law.
Okay.
Thank you. 5.501 is the next policy, and this is the employment procedure. And if you will scroll to line 14, and it looks a little chumpy on mine. Line 14, not page 14. So it's on the first page of that 5.501, Jamal.
So you can't see the numbers on.
Is it clipped off? Well, essentially it does.
There we go.
There you go. If you can, yeah. That line should be replaced with. Go Go back up to the top, Jamal, if you don't mind. I think the margins are different, but essentially, I would ask for this to be when you go to approve this at the end of this call, I'd like to approve it with the amendment that takes out the phrase, pardon me just one moment. Executive Director of Federal Programs and that be changed to Executive Director of Title IX. As you know, we have a Title IX director, and that would be the appropriate place for that. So I've already made a note, and so I would hope that you would allow us to make that technical change here, and that you ratify it at the end of this call and on the consent agenda in a few moments.
So that's line 22 is what you're saying, not line 14.
Well, the way I had it set up in my margins, it was line 14, but I see these margins are tighter, so yeah, it is. So it will be Executive Director of Title IX rather than Executive Director of Federal Programs. That's correct. Thank you. Moving forward, I do want to say something about 6.200, the next policy, even though you're not going to vote on it. If you'll scroll down to the highlighted section, Jamal, we are required to, and we do have in the student handbook, a section on the progressive nature of truancy. And we are required to have a progressive truancy intervention plan. You see it there highlighted on line 35, I think it is. And it says what happens in the various tiers, 1, 2, and 3. And to that end, this language was a pickup and drop off from our friends at the School Boards Association, or at their insistence, and is also within our student handbook. So, but I will say that there are some other aspects that I would like to look at in this policy, especially, this is attendance, and attendance for a lot of reasons in recent days needs to be addressed, and we want to make sure that board policies moving forward are as up to date as possible. And in this sort of time of COVID, I want to make sure that we're not about to ratify something that I have to come back in 3 weeks and do again. So if you'll allow me to defer that until the August 11 meeting, and Ms. Cooper Walker, I guess I'm asking that we have another governance meeting on August 11, if that
Sure.
would be okay.
That's fine.
So we're skipping over that one. I'm going to now, I believe Melissa Roberge is on the call as we bring up 6.304, the next one, which has the longest title of all of our policies. Jamal, is it?
So this is the student discrimination, harassment, bullying, cyberbullying, and intimidation policy. It essentially sets forth that MNPS does not tolerate discrimination, harassment, bullying, cyberbullying, and intimidation. This is, again, based on the model policy, complies with the statute. The only change that we are requesting is at the bottom of page 1. We added if the bullying or discrimination involves sex or is gender-based, that it follow the Title IX procedures, which falls into the next policy that we're asking you to adopt. But otherwise, this complies with the relevant statutes and is similar to the policy that we currently have. And David, do you want me to just go to the next one?
Yeah, I think if you could go ahead to 6.3041, which is its cousin.
Yes. So this is Title IX and sexual harassment. Recently, the U.S. Department of Ed released new regulations on Title IX. Prior to this, there were guidance documents, best practices, dear colleague letters, but the agency had not gone through the formal rulemaking process. The rules have changed a lot for colleges with regards to Title IX and sexual harassment, and also changed a lot for K through 12. This policy just memorializes the regulations and puts forth the framework that we are going to use for both peer-on-peer harassment and for employee-on-student harassment or employee-on-employee harassment. Both Dr. Springer and Dr. Barnes worked really hard to identify those in their departments who would be the best at investigating, drafting up a written decision, and then potentially hearing appeals. So this policy essentially lays out the regulations and the framework that we need to have under Title IX. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but if not, I will turn it back over to David.
Jamal, yes, thank you, Melissa. Jamal, if you could scroll through that one, and I believe there's, keep going right there, and we'll make sure that highlighted area, once we have a phone number for Carly and a mailing address that's sufficient, we'll make sure that's filled in. But I wouldn't consider that amendment, more just a technical correction.
So do we need to have a person's name on here? What if Carly takes another job in 2 months?
Then we would, that's a great question. I've never been a fan of putting actual names in there, but this policy requires us to actually name the name of the person. So, no, I prefer to have titles in there just because I think it doesn't require us to come back and revisit it. I'll get some guidance from some other folks who can assist with that, whether or not that's a technical thing that would need to be revisited every time somebody, does anything from your wise.
The regulations require us to identify the Title IX coordinator by name, so I think it would have to be revisited.
Okay.
Okay.
So scrolling on. The next policy is zero tolerance offenses. And as you know, zero tolerance offenses are tolerances or offenses for which there is no tolerance, obviously by the name. Threat made by electronic means has been removed as a zero tolerance offense. And let me just give a little backstory here. It was a zero tolerance offense that had the opportunity to be adjusted by the district. In other words, it was not a zero tolerance offense. So it was a confusing policy. It could be treated as a zero tolerance offense. I think that was how the legislature sort of split the difference and said, we'll call it a zero tolerance offense, but it's not really. But it's been cleaned up, and where did that go? So in our world, it went into a 400 level offense category. So a threat made by electronic means is now a 400 level category, and that's pretty much how we had been treating it historically anyway. So from a sort of a functional day-to-day school discipline standpoint, there is no change. It just really cleans up the policy, your policy, and gets your policy in line with the state statute. In terms of 6.319, the next policy, so you have, by state law, school districts are required to have an alternative school, and then they're also required to, and they may have alternative programs. And so there was always confusion out in the world about, is this a school or is this a program? And we are required to have a definition of what we have. We're not required to have both. Now, we do have both. In Metro Nashville Public Schools, we have both alternative programs and interventions, and then we have schools that are for students who have been suspended or expelled, and it's located in a facility that's off campus from the regular school premises, whereas an alternative program may be within that same building. So since we have both, we are placing both definitions into our alternative education policy. It's really just a sort of a pro forma thing. And the next one, 6.405. Right there. I'm not sure what that other one was there. Administration of medication in a school setting. For a while now, there has been the ability for students to self-check their blood glucose. Jamal, if you would scroll down, make sure I'm saying what I'm about to say correctly. Adrenal insufficiency has been added to the statute of a student who's being diagnosed with insufficiency of their adrenal glands. They can school personnel may be, they're not required to be trained, but we are required to have a policy around that. I believe that's all done through our school nurses and all that work. I don't, so this really is truly a cleanup, but we did need to add adrenal insufficiency to the statute, along with pancreatic insufficiency, CF, and glucose, so that it's really just a drop right in. It does say at the top, and I want to be in the interest of clarity, it says that this rescinds 6.402, and that is not correct. That will be taken out. It does not. 6.402, just for the record, is our immunization and physical examination policy. That is still a requirement in the state of Tennessee. So you still have to get your shots. You still have to have your exams, and that will still be in there. That was, but with that amendment, it will be, I'm asking that we go ahead and get that approved. 6.4081 is on down. It's a brand new policy that we are required to bring on statutorily. It's the safe relocation of students. And this is one of the kind of more interesting ones that we've had come before you. It is, what is a teacher's duty to move a student to a safe location if it is believed that student is in harm's way? So is a teacher allowed to forcibly remove a student from out of what they believe, if the building's on fire, if there's sort of imminent threat, and what happens if the student doesn't want to move or refuses to move? You can see there on line 5. It says that reasonable force may be used to physically relocate or intervene in a conflict if the student is unwilling to cooperate. Hey, we need to get everybody out of the room. I'm not leaving. I think you need to leave. Well, I'm not leaving. Well, come on. And, I sort of move you. I sort of motion to move you along. You buck up, and I move. I employ a little more emphasis, and to the point that it's still reasonable. But if it becomes unreasonable, then the teacher has the opportunity to say, I don't want to cross the line, and I can't make you move, but I can't drag you out, essentially. And to that end, we that helps the teacher not get in a position where they're sort of overusing force in that situation. So that's 6.4081. It is a policy that we are required statutorily to have, and we're picking up the model language and dropping it in without change. 6.411 is pardon?
May I ask a question?
Certainly.
About, Madam Chair, excuse me. May I ask specifically about the safe relocation of students? Will that impact any students' 504s or IEPs for removal?
I would defer to someone who knows. I think the real the most important word in there is reasonable. So what might be reasonable for a student with a 504 or may have some other IEP, documented issue versus someone who does not, I think it all boils down to that, to the people in that building knowing about the kids in their building. Okay. What might be reasonable to move a kindergartner is going to be very different than a high school senior. I would think the working one might engage, to make that happen. I can see that if the room were on fire, I might pick up a preschooler. But if a senior, kid, just would not leave, I may not be able to pick that student up. I may not be able to physically remove them. And that might be considered crossing a line. Whatever building on fire is probably not a great example, but for whatever reason, the faculty feels that this child is in harm's way. Whatever is reasonable is what would be considered appropriate.
Okay.
And then finally, 6.411. Student wellness, and if you'll scroll down, you'll see one small, tiny change. It's near the end, I believe. Yeah, right there. School districts shall annually administer a baseline assessment of the 3. There are not 3. I believe there are 7. So we just took it out. The baseline assessment of the recommended school health index modules. So however many modules come online over the years, you're covered. They have to do all the recommended school health index modules. So that just gets us compliant with the sort of current practice out there. And with that, that's all my explanations. That was long-winded, I realized, and I apologize for talking too much.
Thank you so much for all your due diligence on this. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Severe about any of these policies? I will entertain a motion about the set of policies before us today.
I move that we adopt these policies as listed.
Can I get a second?
May I make a friendly amendment to that?
Yes.
Sure. Just if you will restate it to move approval with the stated amendments, not as they're listed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gentry. Dr. Gentry. Okay. So are you seconding? Did she need to reset it?
Okay, she could restate it, then I'll second.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So sorry. I move to approve these policies as stated with their amendments.
And I second.
Thank you so much. Any discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Dr. Severe?
Dr. Gentry?
Aye.
Ms. Elrod?
Aye.
Ms. Spearing?
Aye.
Ms. Bugs?
Aye.
Ms. Bush?
Aye.
Ms. Player-Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Pooper-Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Frog?
Aye.
Madam Chair, 8 ayes.
Okey-doke. Well, I appreciate everybody. So I believe we're done. Is that correct?
That's all the business I have, Chair.
Okay, so we will be meeting again in August to pick up some things that we are going to revisit. And so I will give back 30 minutes to the family here to recharge, and we'll see everybody back at 5 o'clock. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.net.